And hello, welcome to this inspiration session. My name is Renee Kacz. I'm your host, and I'm also the founder of the Inspired Women. So that is an online and in-person networking group for dynamic, like-hearted and like-minded business women. And we have a super active Facebook group. So if you're not already a member, make sure you add yourself to the Inspired Women Facebook group. And in the group, we share loads of free business tools and resources. It's also a space of, genuine connection and collaboration. So whether you've got a business question, and you want to get it answered, or if you just want to connect with other dynamic business women, then it is an awesome place to be. So if you're not already, add yourself to the Inspired Women group. So my mission in life is to educate, inspire, and help transform the lives of women, and helping them to be the best version of themselves so that they can make a greater impact, within their business or career. And also that, like, when you make an impact on someone's life in one area, it impacts every area. So particularly as a woman, if you're running your own business, or if you're a mum, or if you're both, changing one area of your life is going to impact all of those areas and also all the people that you touch. So it's my intention to lead by example and show the limitless possibilities that we all have when we express our greatest potential. But enough about me. This is a series of Q&A style inspiration sessions that I'm running. And again, the intention is to, really inspire you through sharing stories of ordinary people who have an extraordinarily inspiring story. And in this session, I'm interviewing Melanie Brandt. So I met Mel just over a year ago when I heard her speak at a women's business event. And Mel has such an incredible story. She was homeless at the age of 14 and has had to work really hard to achieve everything that she has in life. So in just over 24 months, Mel has gone from being a full-time working mum, where she was, having to leave her babies at daycare each day while she went out and built someone else's dream, investing all of her time into the rat race and feeling completely unfulfilled. So Mel was working hard, to be able to contribute to the household, but she still found herself struggling to make ends meet, and she didn't know what to do. But she did know that deep down she was destined for greater things. She did know that she had something more within her. And as these things happen, one of her friends introduced her to a business opportunity, which it actually took Mel quite a while to warm to, quite a few months before she was even open to looking at the idea. But when she finally did come around, she jumped in with both feet, and in the space of 24 months has built a 6-figure income through her business. She's quit her full-time job, and she now also heads up the Boss Mamapreneur movement, which she uses to change lives daily and also serve the many. So that's the official bio. But what I love best about Mel's story is that she had to overcome some really serious poverty mindset, that serious poverty mindset, to be able to get herself to the place where she is today. Like, she's literally had to grow through so much to be able to build a successful business for herself. And, they say that your business only grows as much as you do. And I think Mel's been a really good example of that, and how she's really done the hard yards and continues to in building herself up.
You don't have a cable where I can play this through your speakers, do you? Yeah, just to play
sorry, I'll just
your
mute
car speakers.
that off. Sorry. So, she's literally had to grow through so much, and through building her own self-belief, through building herself up, and also connecting to a strong why, has helped make sure that she's consistent in her business every day, is what has helped her get to where she is today. So it is my absolute pleasure to introduce to you Melanie Brandt. Welcome, Mel.
Thank you. Wow, it's a bit of a rock star entry, isn't it? I might come back here if you keep treating me like this. This is awesome, and honestly, everything you said is absolutely perfect. I am that mama of 2 little girls. Yes, I have. In the past, my life didn't look so amazing, but you're right. With a really strong why, I was able to turn that all around.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I love that. And I can't wait to hear more about that. So firstly, I've gone into the official version of your story, but I want to hear a bit from you, Mel, and I'd love to hear how you've gone from, having such a troubled childhood and being homeless at the age of 14 to now being a six-figure earning boss mama. What was it deep inside you that made you make that leap from working your job, JOB, just over broke, and building someone else's dream, to working for yourself and building your own dream?
So, right back from the start, and I'll say start at around about that age of 14, 15 years old, where life wasn't so great, I always knew that I was destined for something bigger, but I'd never seen what bigger looked like. I just knew that even in the hard times I had to hold on, but I had no idea why. A lot of days were, harder than others to even hold on. But I knew that there had to be more. Life had dealt me some really, really bad cards, but you know what? Whatever I went through, there was someone else going through worse. And that's really what kept me going, is that, everyone gets given what they can handle. And at the time I didn't know, whether I could even handle it or not, because life was really testing there. But like I said, I knew that I was destined to become someone, and I knew, and I'm not sure even how, but I knew that the pain that I had been through, I would be able to use later in life to inspire people. And that places me right where I am now, inspiring women to be the best version of themselves, and really, harnessing that inner badass. I was always told you're rebellious and, you're never going to succeed. And, even from my own mother's mouth was, "You're tattooed scum," were the words. And, these are the things now that I'm known for. I am that tattooed boss mama. I am that rebellious, fun person in the room. And it was those things that I was always told as a child to stop doing. So really harnessing that and allowing women to grow through that now is so, so cool, to be able to offer that, to other people, to be able to move through. And the other thing that's really unspoken about, that needs to be spoken about more, is, I'm a child abuse survivor, which is where this all started, this downward spiral. I became homeless through that time. And, really, it's not spoken about enough, to be honest. It's one of those things where, some people are unlucky enough to go through that sort of thing, and it's swept under the rug because people don't, they're ashamed, or they're worried about what people are going to think, or they're worried about the outcome of speaking out. Whereas, my message is, we need to stand tall, right? We need to stand tall, we need to stick together, and we need to support each other, because there's not enough support out there for women in crisis, no matter what area that is. So really, that drove me for many, many years to want to help people, even though I probably needed most of the help through that time. It was really, I always found myself being that friend that people would come to and put their trust in. And, that's now been able to lead me to my passion now of inspiring women, like I said, to be the best version of themselves, but, stepping it up a notch. Let's level it up a notch and, take over the world, build these empires of business based on what used to be our pain, and really using that to inspire people moving forward.
Wow. So you've really tapped into that and used the pain and everything that you've been through to help serve others. I love that. That's amazing. And they say, who's it, Yogi Bhajan? There's that famous quote, if you're feeling rubbish, then the fastest way to feel better is to help someone else. And it sounds like you've really used everything from your past and the pain that you went through to now channel that into helping other people.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think I learned that at a very young age, was helping friends, or, being that shoulder to cry on for everyone else. That filled up my cup. And, it wasn't until about 2 years ago that I found, the vehicle to be able to move that, grow that, be better at that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I managed to be able to create a business out of that as well, which in turn has changed life around dramatically.
Yeah. Well, it definitely sounds like it. And you haven't been shy, I guess, about sharing your story. And I guess it's safe to say, you know, these last couple of years probably haven't been the easiest for you either. And you've spoken publicly about going through your divorce as well in these last couple of years. And you know, I think it's really easy from the outside. A lot of people will look at someone else's success, look at someone else's path that they're on and say, oh, you know, but they've got it easy, or it's different for them for these reasons. And, you know, something that it's been coming up a lot lately in some of the work I've been doing, you know, in the group, in the Inspired Women group, but also in my mentoring group and with one-on-one coaching, is this idea of having a really clear and well-defined why. And I can imagine with the challenges and things that you have been through, it's perhaps that's got you through, but, or, you know, as Napoleon Hill calls it, that your definite major purpose. But I'd love to know, you know, as a successful businesswoman, what are your thoughts on defining your why when running a business? Do you think it's important even?
Yeah, totally. And I think, you know, if your why isn't clear, then you're not going to get out of bed on the hard days. And trust me, if you want to earn 4, 5, 6, 7-figure incomes, then you're going to have a really, really strong why. And it has to be the why that makes you cry. It has to be. You know, when I sort of found this vehicle that was, you know, this journey for the last 2 years, my why was, you know, at the time, my partner at the time worked on the mines, and my kids hugged the phone at night, and that's what life looked like for us. We traded time for dollars, but that time was the best years that we had, you know, with kids being so young. And, you know, at the start I went, oh, you know, my why is about, you know, being able to retire him and bring him home and all the airy, fairy, fluffy stuff.
Yeah.
But really, when I dug a little bit deeper into that, you know, this opportunity that I had come across was that place where for the first time in my life, I had recognition for building people up. I was able to, you know, do things for people and help people grow their businesses, their life, their mindset, you know, loads of different aspects, and actually be in a position where for the first time in my life that was recognized. And it's not about the recognition. It's not about the, oh my God, you did this, but it's about the fact that for so many years I'd gone unnoticed, you know, in my life and in my childhood, that I was all of a sudden surrounded by people that wanted to rise me up, not bring me down. They wanted to help me, not bash me. You know, they wanted to be around me because they enjoyed me, my time, my input. And that was something that I hadn't seen. I hadn't had anything to do with people like that my entire life. So it was crazy to be a part of. It was almost like, it was just so life-changing because I'd never seen anything like it. You know, I'd watched many sort of movies or documentaries and just thought, where do these people even exist? Yeah. And now I find myself bang smack in the middle of thousands and thousands of people, you know, that I'm able to help and impact as well. So it's still a little bit surreal, I'm not going to lie. You know, it's only been, you know, just over 24 months. And, you know, to be able to, it was only in April that I stood on stage in Anaheim in front of 8,000 people and shared my story. And it was even at that moment, just before I took the last step on stage, that I went, holy moly, these people are listening to my story, you know. And after that speech, I had 2,000 friend requests and 800 messages from people about how much my story had inspired them or moved them or reminded them of their childhood and inspired them to step up, to take action, to do something about it, to stop the pain, to move the mindset. You know, whatever it was for them, it was a couple of minutes of courage for me. And don't get me wrong, it's still painful to share, but it was a couple of minutes of courage for me for an impact a lot greater than I ever could have imagined.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. And I wasn't actually going to touch on this, but I think it's kind of the elephant in the room. Obviously, you're in a network marketing business. And what I love from what you've shared is how that's been a really powerful vehicle for you, particularly with the background you had. But I think it's for anyone, no one grows up with a perfect childhood, or at least not me or any of my friends. And, but particularly from what you said, being a child abuse survivor is huge, and being in that negative mindset, growing up with that level of negativity around you. I personally, I used to be very anti-network marketing, but I now see so many benefits of it. And I think one big aspect of it is the strong, the inbuilt belief, but that ongoing encouragement to constantly build yourself up and having people around you who believe in you. And I think that's really powerful. Do you think that's been a big part of, how you've been able to get to where you are today, having that support around you?
Totally. I think that was the missing link for me. It was, I had everything inside me bubbling, ready to go, but I didn't have the support or the network around me to help me make that happen. And, it really is a journey that you go on. You build your own business as such, but it's the people around you. It's your tribe, it's your family. And I was anti-network marketing, but it was because I didn't understand it. In moving forward, that's really been the vehicle that's got me to this point. Yeah. But moving forward from there, I now realize I'm capable of things even greater than that again. And, why stop there? So, for myself, it's been the vehicle that's brought us this far. It'll be the vehicle that continues to stay in our life, but it's not always necessarily going to be the main vehicle that moves me through the next chapter of growth as well, which is really, really exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's really exciting. And I was the same. I was so anti-network marketing, and I think it's not until you have a positive experience with it that you get to understand it, because there are a lot of people that just spam you with it, and that's never ideal, but it kind of gives network marketing a bad name. But if anyone is interested in looking at it as a vehicle, it is a really powerful vehicle, particularly if you're wanting that extra support, because building a business is hard, and particularly building a traditional business is really hard. And at least with network marketing, you've got additional support. But network marketing is a business. It's a serious business, and you can make it very successful if you take it seriously. Anyway, we could talk forever about network marketing, but that's not what we're talking about today. And, as we've sort of touched on a few times, you've obviously had a pretty tough upbringing. And I've been reading Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers recently, and I think it's very interesting looking at, the science of success. And people who grow up in that kind of environment, in a really negative environment like that, it's ingrained into you. That poverty mindset is so heavily entrenched. So when people move from that kind of environment to creating the success like you've done for yourself, Mel, it's unheard of. You're an outlier. It just doesn't happen, because when you're brought up like that, you've got these belief systems that are ingrained into you where you're thinking a certain way. So you're not going to put yourself out there. You're not going to put yourself in situations where you can move ahead. So the fact that you have moved from where you were to where you are now is incredible, incredible. And, we've chatted previously a bit about this, but I'd love to know, because you've said previously that building your self-belief has been a big part of what's helped you move from that previous negative mindset and the poverty mindset to where you are now. So how did you build your self-belief, or do you have specific rituals that you follow to help build your self-belief muscle? I think it's like a muscle, and if we don't actively build it regularly, it goes. So do you have rituals around that, or what do you do?
Yeah, totally. I think, going back to what I was saying before about being that rebellious type, that ended up being, a massive part of what helped me through, because I had that "you're not going to tell me" mindset, which, years and years ago got me into a lot of trouble. But moving forward, it's got me out of that and into success, because I had that mindset of, I won't let you win. I will not let you win. Now, obviously, being young with that mindset, that's not a great concoction there. But moving forward, that mindset in business is what kept getting me back up. You know, every time I got knocked down, which for a while there, it was daily. It was daily. The challenges were coming in thick and fast. And I think with any business, it doesn't matter what you do. If you're building a business extremely fast, you need to understand that the challenges are going to come through just as fast. You know, you flip over one leaf and before you know it, they're all flipping over in front of you. And that's just part of it. And, you know, I think the sad thing, but the true thing about business on any scale is that, you know, the tough will make it, okay? Because too many people quit long before the work's even been done. As soon as it looks hard, people pull out. And, you know, if I had have done that when I got thrown life, I wouldn't be here. Okay, I probably would have ended it years ago because it all would have been too hard. And really applying my life lessons into my business has what's worked really, really well. I was never one, I mean, my family are so negative and they still are. During this process of building my business, I made the decision to sever the ties. And the reason for this, and it was probably the hardest decision I've ever made, especially having two little girls, you know, and not being able to explain to them why I've made this decision, but knowing that it's definitely for the right reasons, is that there was still times of success where I would get knocked down. I would still get told I wasn't good enough. There would always be something. And I thought, you know what? Too often we accept the negativity from the people that we think we have to. You know, so many times I've heard people say, oh yeah, but it's my mum. Oh yeah, but it's my dad. Oh, they don't support me. Or, you know, they think I've joined a cult. Or you know, there's a million things, you know, but they're the people that should support you no matter what, whether it's right or it's wrong. And, you know, this is really the basis of making my decisions, and probably the freest that I've ever felt was severing those ties. And trust me, it gets hard. You know, it really still to this day gets hard. You know, my 3-year-old says to me, Mum, have you got a dad? I'm like, yes, darling, I have a dad. Have you got a mum? I'm like, yeah, I have a mum. But, you know, having to leave it at that because I know that I've made the right decision moving forward to keep the negativity out of her life or out of their lives. And that's really important moving forward. And, you know, when they're old enough, it's a decision they can make themselves. But for now, it's one that I've had to make, hoping and never knowing, but hoping that it definitely is the right decision. So, you know, moving forward from there, being always around that negativity and, you know, my parents were never believers in anything, apart from the fact that everything will hurt you and everyone will hurt you and, you know, just negative. You know, I really had to create some really, really strong rituals moving forward. One of those was meditation. Because of the mindset shift that I had to go through, there are still times to this day where I have bad days. They are so limited to what they used to be, which is amazing. But now I'm so aware. I'm so much more aware these days of what that looks like that I can catch it long before it gives me a face down week. It's maybe a face down hour these days, which is really awesome. So meditating was one thing where I was completely against it because my life was so crazy busy. Kids, I mean, you don't even get to be by yourself with children, right? So who thought that I could get to meditate? But it was something where I had to create that ritual. I had to wake up half an hour earlier than what I was. I had to put things in place so that I could succeed. And meditating was one of those things. And starting off really small, you know, 5 minutes and then 10 minutes and 15. And now I crave it. I absolutely crave it because it's that silence in my life that is extremely busy. You know, I do have a successful business. I've just launched another platform off that business, which is immediately become a success. And, you know, I have kids, I have a house, I have all the things that everyone else has. And, you know, I need that silence in my life to gather my thoughts, to, set myself up for the day and really start off on a good foot.
Yeah.
Because quite often, I can only speak of being a mum, but, you wake up to just craziness. Absolute craziness the minute you open your eyes, and I really had to stop that and make sure that I was waking up earlier than the kids so I could set myself up for the day. And some of those other things that I do are I am statements, and I'll do minimum about 10 I am statements a day. And the reason being, self-doubt, fear, all those things still kick in.
Yeah.
They still kick in it doesn't matter what level you're at in business, in life, in general. The self-doubt and the fear kicks in, am I good enough? Can I do this? Oh my God, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. But really you do. It's just the way that our brains are programmed is to keep us safe. But you know what? Safe's not fun. Safe's not exciting. So, now I thrive on that feeling where, I can feel the fear. And I can literally, say to myself, this is exciting because on the other side of this is going to be growth. Yeah. And I can see that now, whereas before it would definitely limit, what I would do and how far I would push myself. So my I am statements and gratitude. Gratitude's definitely a massive one, obviously coming from, a negative background, being grateful. Like, let's be grateful for all the things that I do have and the fact that I was able to pull through and be strong enough mentally to be able to pull through. But not only that, I want to be able to inspire my children to go and be little boss babes, no matter what that looks like for them, to have the courage to be able to stand up for what it is that they want and go and get it, even if there's 1,000 people telling you that you can't. So really that's the power in all of it for me now. And it's funny because my 6-year-old, she's 7 now, but when she was 6, she launched a little business to save the turtles. And we had 100 calico bags made with little turtles printed on them. And the money is donated to the Turtle Sanctuary. She had the 100 bags. Within 2 days, her business had gone international. She'd sold half of the stock. We're down to 1 bag. And if she only knew the impact that she'd already had and the fact that she is a 7-year-old entrepreneur, it really does show that kids do what we do, not what we say. Exactly. So leading by example now, because that's what I didn't have. I didn't have that person leading by example. So that's my job from here on in is just to show them how to go and harness everything they need to create success for themselves, no matter what that looks like.
Oh, I love that. That is so cool. And I absolutely agree. And children, it's funny, if you know the parents and you have a friendship or relationship with parents, you can see how the children model the parents. So that's so beautiful that you have not only changed your life, you've changed the lives of your children. I just want to recap on a couple of those things because I love that people are on here to get some inspiration. I love that we're sharing your story, but I think the most powerful thing in life is transformation. Inspiration's amazing. It sparks ideas, but transformation's where we actually see lasting change. And we transform through actually changing our behaviors, through implementing actions. And I love that you gave, 4 key things there that people can implement today that will help them on their journey, whether it's, within their business, within their career, and just in life and having a more joyous life. And you touched on something which was huge, cutting your parents off and your family off. And I know we all hear about how it's important to cut out the negative people in your life, but where a lot of people draw the line is definitely with our own family. That is huge, Mel. So I think you're definitely walking your talk. Meditation, it's not as hard as people think either. It's not about stopping your thoughts. No one can stop your thoughts, because if you think about stopping your thoughts, then you're going to be thinking about stopping your thoughts, which is thinking. So you're not stopping your thoughts. It's just about centering and grounding. But there's some amazing meditations. You get free meditations on YouTube. You can listen to guided meditations as a starting point if you like. I'm a huge fan of meditation. It also rewires your brain chemistry as well. So the way your brain actually works does change when you meditate consistently. And when you start off, it's hard. Expect to have a lot of chatter. I even started off, and I started 10 years ago. When I first started meditating, I'd have a pad and a pen next to me on my bed. And because there's all these things your mind plays with and it tells you, you have to do this now. That has to happen now. These things have to happen now. They can't wait 5 minutes while you meditate. So I would literally be like, okay, you reckon that's going to happen now? I'd write these things down so I would be able to stop focusing on them and then could go within and focus on the meditation. And I am statements, they're really powerful. So do you just literally say, Mel, some statements about yourself, about where you'd like to be? What are some of your I am statements that you use?
Yeah, so I think the really important thing with the I am statements is don't state the things you already know. So for myself at the start, I was like, I am strong, I am successful, and it was like, well, yes, you are. Yeah. State the things that you struggle with. So for myself, it was, these days it is, I am worthy. I am open to abundance. I am, those sorts of things that you struggle with still believing. And, it's a journey. There is no right and wrong. There is no time where you're going to get wherever it is that you're heading, that there's going to be this nice little line in the sand that says, oh my God, you've made it. Because it's just that constant growth and submerging yourself in that is what's going to allow you to find, for myself, it allowed me to find my passion. But from that, I've been able to merge into what lights me up, what fills me up, from there. So, really harnessing the things that you don't necessarily 100% believe in is what you need to tell yourself every single day.
Yeah. And just repeating those over and over. I love that. And obviously, the final thing you shared, the fourth thing was gratitudes and being grateful for things. Again, this actually has been proven to change the way your brain works. It turns on that reticular activation system, the part of the brain, if you're going to buy a new car or you're going to get something, you suddenly see it everywhere. Being grateful for things and actively saying your gratitudes every day, writing them down every day, but actively doing it turns that part of your brain on to find more things to be grateful for. It's very powerful practice. There's a lot of science behind that. So I really love that you've shared that one. Now, I'm just conscious that we need to sort of start wrapping things up, but I'd love for you to just share quickly, what would you say then were the 2 or 3 keys that have helped you with your success, helping you going from homeless and from having that really rough start to now being a 6-figure earning boss mamapreneur?
So I guess really the 3 ones that I could pick is consistency, and it doesn't matter what you're applying that to. You don't give up on a bad day. It's proven that if you continue to put in the time and effort that you will get the results you're looking for. The other one is be raw, real, and be unapologetically you. Yeah. No matter what, whether there's haters or not, just do it anyway. And the other one is get connected to your why, because if you don't, you're not going to get out of bed on a bad day. Okay, cool. So Mel, just noticing the time, how can our audience get in touch with you? How can they learn more about you? Yeah, so obviously I'm on Facebook under Melanie Brandt. I do have a business page called Boss Mamapreneur, and that's M-A-M-A, Boss Mamapreneur. And also I've just launched a new page called Unapologetically You, which is all about business tips to build a social media empire. Awesome. I love that. Okay, guys. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this inspiration session, and stay tuned to our next inspiration session, because for the next one, I'll be interviewing Heidi Anderson. So she's from radio station Hit 92.9. She's on the Heidi, Will and Woody show each morning, and she's well known for being raw and honest, and is going to share her story about anxiety with us. So another amazing session, which you won't want to miss. All right. Thanks so much. Thanks, Mel, and have an amazing evening. Bye. Bye.